To all of you, let us begin today's value education class. Every Sunday, this time, which varies according to our evening prayer time, according to our evening prayer. So just 1 hour before evening prayer. And evening prayer varies from the time of sunset. So after about 20 minutes to half an hour after sunset, we have our evening prayer. So just 1 hour before that, we have this value education class. And every now November, this is November month, December month also timing will be same. Maybe after from January, it will be advanced by half an hour. But till December, whole of the month of December, it will remain the same. No internet connection भन्छ के गर्नु
नेट छ भने मेरो पनि भर्खर कनेक्सन लस मात्रै फेरि कनेक्टेड भयो मेरो पनि ट्याक्क भर्खर कनेक्सन लस मात्रै फेरि कनेक्टेड भएको छ यसमा फ्लक्चुएसन भयो
मेरो माइक्रोफोन अन माइक्रोफोन
अफ छ चाहिँ
मेक इट अन
नै मैले बनाउनु मिल्दैन हजुरले पनि बनाउनुपर्छ माइक हजुरले नै अन गर्नुपर्छ त्यहाँबाट
बट इट इज अफ हियर
त्यो माइकले क्लिक गर्नु माइक आइकन हजुर
So, let us begin with the pranam mantra and some Vedic chanting. Pranam mantra of Swamiji and some Veda mantra. Om Namah Sri Yatirajaya Vivekananda Suraye Satchit Sukha Swarupaya Swamine Tapaharine Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Hari Om Sahana Vavatu Sahana Bhunakto Sahaviryam Karavavai Tejasvinavadhitamastu Mavit Vishavahai Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Om Bhadram Karnive Srinuyam Devaha Bhadram Pasemakshaviryajatraha Sthirairangaistuštuvagum Sastanuvihi Vyasema Devahitanyadayo Swasti na Indro Vriddhasravaha Swasti na Pusha Visvaveda Swasti nastarcho aristanemi Swasti no brihaspatirdadatu Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hare Om. Om Ashato Ma Sadgamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hare Om. Let us begin with some quotation, some quote from Swamiji. What Swamiji says. Whatever you think, that you will be. If you think yourself weak, weak you will be. If you think yourself strong, strong you will be. Be free. Hope for nothing from anyone. I am sure if you look back upon your lives, you will find that you were always vainly trying to get help from others, which never came. All the help that has come was from within yourself. Never say no, never say I cannot, for you are infinite. Even time and space are as nothing compared with your nature. You can do anything and everything. You are almighty. Never mind the struggles, the mistakes. I never heard a cow tell a lie, but it is only a cow, never a man. So never mind these failures, these little backslidings. Hold the ideals 1,000 times, and if you fail 1,000 times, make the attempt once more. So these are some of the quotations from Swami Vivekananda. If we just ponder over them and act according to these teachings, our life will be wonderful and we will get so much of confidence to struggle for life. Swamiji says, never mind the struggles, the mistakes. Only a person who does something makes mistake. A person who does not do anything, he will not make a mistake. Like a cow will never tell a lie, but cow will remain always a cow. It cannot become a man. It cannot become God. But man or men, they make mistakes, but if they keep on struggling and struggling, they will realize their mistakes, and these mistakes themselves will become steps they are the steps towards success. So mistakes themselves become step towards success. So we should not mind the mistakes. We should go on, keep on struggling and struggling. And little failures, little backslidings, we should not mind them. Hold the ideal 1,000 times. We should first be clear what is our ideal, what is our goal, where do we want to reach. Hold the ideals 1,000 times, and if you fail 1,000 times, make the attempt once more. So never stop. Swamiji says in another place, arise, awake, and stop not till the goal is reached. And what Sri Ramakrishna says, go ahead. He says, don't stop anywhere. Go ahead. Simply keep on moving. Keep on. Charai veti. Keep on moving. Keep on moving. And if you keep on moving, even if you make mistakes in the beginning, those very mistakes will teach you. unless you keep on moving, unless you proceed forward, you will not know what mistakes you could have made, and you will also not know what is the correction. So we have to keep on struggling. And Swamiji in one place gives one beautiful example in, I suppose, in Karma Yoga or some other yoga. He says, a huge locomotive means a railway engine. Railway is rail. Train is going along its rail. Train is going along its lines, rails, two parallel lines along the rails. And one small ant which is just ahead of that train, from which after some times this train will pass. One small ant is there, and this small ant, it will just move away from that railway line to save its life. That is, that small ant is much superior to this huge locomotive, huge railway engine or huge train, because that ant has life. It can struggle. So, which that has life, which is jiva, which lives, that is superior to that which is simply insensate material. So struggle is life. That is why Swamiji says struggle is life. And life means we should keep on struggling. And what is our goal? From that ant onward till we are human being, what is our goal? What that ant is proceeding towards? Evolutionists will say that ant is proceeding towards a human body, human being. Being a human, that is, right from amoeba, according to the theory of evolution, right from amoeba, everything that one unicellular organism, that lowest kind of organism, that lowest kind of jiva, that is struggling to become a human being. And what a human being is supposed to struggle to become God. That means that amoeba is actually struggling to become God. So right from that, even in that amoeba, if it has life, it is struggling to become God. That is, the goal of our life is that manifestation of divinity. Swami Vivekananda says, each soul is potentially divine, not only human soul, but even animal soul also. Each soul is potentially divine. Everyone, even the ant, even that amoeba, even birds, dogs, cats, whatever jiva we see, whatever animals, whatever living beings we see, they are all potentially divine. They have not manifested their divinity, but it is all there within themselves. That divinity, that divine, that God is sleeping within them. That divinity is sleeping within them, as if that lion is sleeping within them. Only they have to wake it up. They have to wake that lion. They have to realize that they are divine. So each soul is potentially divine. The goal is to manifest this divinity within by controlling nature, external and internal. So what Swamiji says, what is the goal of human life? Goal of human life is manifestation of this divinity, that divyata, that devatva, manifestation of that divinity. That is the goal of human life. Sri Ramakrishna says, what is the goal of human life? What is the ultimate goal of human life? That is realization of God, to know God face to face, to shake hand with God. That is the goal of human life, to become God, to become one with God. That is the goal of human life, all jivas. What is the goal of a drop of water? What is the goal of a drop of water? The goal of a drop of water is to reach the ocean. That is the goal of a drop of ocean. Goal of that drop of ocean is to reach the ocean. The goal of a drop of water, a small drop of water. What is the goal of that drop of water? Goal of that drop of water is to reach ocean. That is why it begins its journey, say from the Himalayas, or from where? If we go still further, it begins its journey as a cloud or from the Himalayas, and it passes through many hills, and sometimes it strikes the stones. So much of obstacles are there, but it goes on and on. Like it goes into the river, it falls into the river. First it makes a small stream, then it mixes with river, and finally through all the struggles, the goal of this drop of ocean is to become ocean. Similarly, goal of jiva is to become divine. So that drop of water is potential ocean. Similarly, every jiva is potential God. So our real nature is that ultimate truth which we call God or divine or whatever it may be. Because unless we attain that particular goal, we will not get the final fulfillment. Suppose in our childhood, suppose if I ask any children, what is your goal in life? If I ask, some children are here, I will ask them, what is your goal of life? Somebody can tell, one sin can say, what is your goal of life? Today, one of my old friend, old in the sense not in terms of age, but since I was in Jammu, so one scene call also has joined today. So what is your, if he is there, what is your goal of life? So nobody is telling. But I know that if I ask children, what is your goal of life? Or any other child can say, those who are online, what is your goal of life? So definitely somebody will say, my goal of life is to become an engineer. Someone will say, my goal of life is to become a doctor. My goal of life, someone will say, is to become IAS officer. Some will say a businessman or so and so. Because in our childhood, when we are children, we think that when we attain to that particular height, we will get fulfillment. That is, we will be fulfilled. But when we reach there, we find that we are not fulfilled. So our goal changes. And we want to, suppose if I am an engineer, I want to become the best engineer or say a leader among other engineers or something like that. I try to reach still higher. And if I reach there, still higher I want to go. So, but I will not get fulfillment until I reach that divinity, until that divinity is fully manifested, until I become a Buddha, until I become a Vivekananda, or until I become a Buddha. So, that is called manifestation of divinity. And if we manifest that divinity, as we go on manifesting divinity in our life becomes more and more harmonious. Uh, our life becomes better, our behavior becomes better. Uh, all these wonderful good qualities will come to us. And when we have fully reached that goal, then nothing remains to be attained. You have become fulfilled. You don't want anything. Now whatever we do it for something. We want to get to such and such position, so we work hard. So there is some motivation to work. But when we reach that highest goal, we don't need any motivation to do good to others. So that is called Buddhahood. That is called Nirvana. So we should realize it. Our goal is to reach that highest. And until we reach that highest, we should not stop anywhere. And when Narendranath, and I will tell you, no age is too early. Some may think only in the why these children should think about God now, because it is the task of a old people. When you go old, then you have to think of God and mukti and other things. It is not like that. No age is too early. You know that Prahlada, even when he was in the womb of his mother was taken to the ashrama of sage Narada, where Narada used to tell many things about God, about Lord Vishnu, Narayana, to his mother. And Prahlad, who was in the womb, not yet born, but he used to listen all these things. And when Prahlada was born, he was born perfect. He was born a realized soul. Prahlada was born a Buddha. So, no age is too early. From our very childhood, we have to learn about, we have to listen, we have to hear about God and our ultimate divinity. And there was a mother in ancient time, in ancient India. Her name was Madalasa. And as soon as the child was born to her, she was a queen. And that Madalasa, the queen, as soon as a child was born to her, she used to put that child into the cradle, that jhula, and that cradle, what was the cradle song of Mother Madalasa, Queen Madalasa? As she was rocking the child, she used to sing, Nityosi Niranjanosi. That is, you are perfect, you are spotless, you are Nitya Suddha Buddha Mukta Svabhava. That is, you are ever pure, you are ever perfect, you are the divine, you are divinity, all these things. She used to, such kind of cradle songs, this Madalasa, Queen Madalasa used to sing. So these divine songs she used to sing for her children. As soon as the child was born, she used to put the child into the cradle, and then as she rocked the cradle, she used to sing that you are ever free, you are ever pure, you are ever intelligent, you are Atman, you are perfect. All these divine songs, this Atma Tattva, this Vedantic songs she used to sing. And all the children become, those who got this kind of raising from their very birth, all of them became monk afterward. And they renounce the world and ultimately they realize the ultimate truth. So, no age is too early, that is, and also no age is too late also. We can begin any time. And as we know, from the life of Swami Vivekananda, when his pre-monastic name, before he became a monk, before he became Vivekananda, he was Narendranath Datta. His college name, school name was Narendranath Datta. And he had this question in his mind, is there God? And he used to go, is there any ultimate reality? Is there ultimate divinity? Is God real? Has anybody seen God? So that question troubled him so much, and he wanted to get answer for this question. And then he goes from door to door and he asks, like, he goes to many great spiritual teacher of that time, many great spiritual teachers, Kesab Chandra Sen, Devendranath Tagore, they were all popular. They were known to the whole world. Kesab Chandra Sen was invited, even the Queen of Great Britain, and he was given great respect by the Queen herself and invited for the dinner also. So, because he was a great religious leader, Kesab Chandra Sen, Devendranath Tagore, we know the name of Kavi Guru Ravindranath Tagore, the great poet. And Ravindranath Tagore's father was Devendranath Tagore. So Devendranath Tagore and many other great spiritual leader of that time, very popular spiritual leader. He went to every one of them and he asked, "Sir, have you seen God? Have you realized God? Have you realized that divinity? Have you manifested that divinity fully?" But none of them could give satisfactory answer to Naren. He was not satisfied. They gave all roundabout question, they gave roundabout answers, not the direct answer. Yes, I have seen God. This kind of direct answer they could not give. None of them could give. Many leaders he went. And he was so much dissatisfied, disappointed. And then one day William Hasty tells him, you go to Dakshineswar, his professor William Hasty. He tells, you go to Dakshineswar, and there one saint of Dakshineswar, Sri Ramakrishna, he is there. He can answer your question. What was the question? Professor William Hasty, while he was teaching the poem of Wordsworth, great English poet, Wordsworth. I suppose all the children have heard the name of William Wordsworth. He is a great poet of English literature, and most of you must have read his poems because they are there in your textbooks also. So Wordsworth, one of the poems is Excursion. One of the poems of Wordsworth is Excursion. So in that poem, Excursion, there is a word comes, and that word is trance. So William Hasty was explaining to children the word trance from the poem Excursion. And Naren asks if anyone has attained this kind of state, trance in Sanskrit we call samadhi. So William Hasty that time tells, you go to only one person in modern time, I do not know anyone who has attained this kind of universe, everything is vanishing, and then finally his own I consciousness, that ego, I am, that was also about to vanish. And Naren says, sir, what are you doing to me? I have my parents at home. Naren thought I might die. So that kind of experience he had by the mere touch of Ramakrishna. So Naren could not understand what is going on, because Naren had a very strong mind. But even though he had very strong mind, he could not understand these kind of things. So as a result, Naren could not understand, but he returned, but he thought that Sri Ramakrishna was no ordinary person. He came to have this deep respect for him, though there were still many unanswered questions in his mind. And then next week we will read the Master and the Disciple. Chapter 6 of this book we will read. Chapter 6 of this book. The Master and the Disciple. We will read this book, chapter 6. Swami Vivekananda, Life and Teachings, this book. So now let us stop here, because after some time we will have our evening prayer. 5:30 we will have our evening prayer. So before that, any child wants to say some quotation of Swamiji? Anyone? Nigam? One scene? Or who else? Here, difficult to see. Anyone? Then you can unmute and say at least one quotation of Swamiji. Then we will begin our evening arati. You will all wait for that. Bansin is there. No. Then this she is there. Nigam is there. Say one quotation of Swamiji. Who is there? One quotation, one. Already in man. But yes, that is true. But I wanted some small children to tell. But they are not visible here. So there are. Education is the manifestation of perfection already in man, and religion is the manifestation of divinity that is already in man. So both the definitions are very similar. So it is the manifestation of perfection and manifestation of divinity. They are one and the same thing. Those who are perfect, those who are divine, like Buddha and Vivekananda, all their actions will be perfect. They are skilled, and we know that very well. All the realized soul, they are perfect. Buddha or Vivekananda, whatever they did with perfection. And in the Bhagavad Gita also, the same thing is told. What is yoga? Yoga is yoga karmasu kausalam. That if you do any action with perfection, that is called yoga. So let us stop here. Om Shanti 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 Hare Om Tat Sat Shri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu.